Right now at 10, the Sun Prairie School Board holds a meeting how they're addressing parents' concerns after child sex crime allegations.
And a state of emergency is declared, the preparations by local officials to prevent flooding damage.
Plus, a homecoming decades in the making. How a Wisconsin community is honoring a fallen World War II soldier. It's all coming up on News 3 Now at 10. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. The Sun Prairie Area School District is facing some serious backlash from community members. Roughly 30 people packed a board meeting tonight, very vocal about their concerns.
And this is just weeks after officials announced that Sun Prairie West High School's former dean of students would be facing 15 criminal charges. Our Tanisha Shaw joins us now with more. Tanisha?
Hi, Eric and Sarah. Yes, a lot of the backlash is stemmed from mistrust. Parents and residents in Sun Prairie say the 15 child sex charges that Robert Gilkey Massagar is facing is another example of lack of transparency in Sun Prairie.
You need to revisit your priorities as to what you expect your administration to focus on.
The Sun Prairie Area School District is facing backlash.
Not a single staff member has been held accountable. No internal review, no disciplinary action, no transparency.
Community members are speaking out Monday night during a school board meeting. This is just 2 weeks after the Dane County District Attorney charged former West High School Dean of Students Robert Gilkey Massagar with 15 child sex crimes.
When I read the criminal complaint involving Rob Gilkey, I was disgusted.
The criminal complaint says that Gilkey Massagar had inappropriate and sexual relations with a student on campus and exchanged nudes with female students for alcohol. The complaint also accuses staff members of knowing about these accusations before they were charged.
What transpired here with Rob was a breaking point for my sons. When they found out about Rob's arrest, decided they didn't even want to go to their high school graduation. They were disgusted. My wife and I begged them to go. We convinced them to go, and lo and behold, what happens? Who shows up at that graduation? Making a mockery of it.
In addition to the backlash from how the district handled those charges with Gilkey Massagar, the board also voted on what's called Operation Excellence. Now, this is kind of like performance reviews that we would get at work, but this is more so just with communication with the district and communication with the school board itself. They voted non-compliant on both of those.
All right, so today there's a lot to follow right now in Sun Prairie. What is the latest on the charges that Gilkey Massagar is facing in this case?
Yep, so right now we're waiting for him to be back in court, and we will be there, of course, when he's back in September on September 2nd.
All right, thank you, Tanisha. Great job. In other news, a federal agency says Didion Milling failed to implement safety recommendations following a deadly explosion back in 2017. The incident at Didion's Cambria corn mill killed 5 workers and injured 14 others. The U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board made 9 recommendations to improve conditions at the facility. The CSB says to date, none of those recommendations have become reality, and Didion is not adequately responding to requests for updates.
More rain on the way overnight, but we will soon dry out.
Meteorologist Blaise Keller has the answer.
That's right. We're looking at those showers and a few thunderstorms to move in, mainly after midnight going into Tuesday, lasting through at least the mid to late morning hours on Tuesday. And for folks further south and east, places that picked up, possibly a foot of rain, if not more, that's going to be the target area for those showers and thunderstorms as we go into the mid to late morning hours. There's that little bit of moisture coming out of Iowa. This is once again traveling along what we call a stationary front, that area where we get a little bit of upward motion, and living up to its name, being stationary, it really does not move very quickly. So we're looking at about an inch to isolated spots of 2 inches of rain as we go into the morning hours on Tuesday. Here's a second round of showers and thunderstorms to end Tuesday. This is along a cold front, and that means that we could be dealing with some severe weather as we go into Tuesday afternoon. So I want to quickly just highlight, the impressive rain totals that we saw over the last 72 hours. Again, in the Milwaukee area especially, and I'm not ignoring parts of Iowa County, Lafayette County, or Grant County, which easily saw over a half a foot of rain. But if we take samples over the last 72 hours, we're seeing at many, many locations in this yellow here between Milwaukee and Menominee Falls along 41 there, picking up at least a foot of rain, if not more. These are estimates, but again, the National Weather Service is working to verify this, as well as that over 14-inch reading coming out of the Milwaukee area. We're going to take a look at more rain chances as we wrap up this week, coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thank you, Blaze. A state of emergency has been declared after this heavy rain battered Wisconsin this weekend. And new data shows severe weather events like these floods will happen more frequently. According to climatecentral.org, the upper Midwest has seen a 45% increase in heavier downpours between 1958 and 2021. And if this trend continues, chances are we'll see rain events such as the ones from over the weekend more often. We spoke with the Dane County Emergency Management team on what their steps are after these rainy 72 hours.
So emergency management really kind of works on a constant cycle where we are either responding, reviewing, and working on recovery, or we're planning towards the future and working to mitigate risks.
Dane County Emergency Management is sending staff out to Milwaukee to help them assess damage from flash flooding experienced over the weekend.
The man accused of killing a Sun Prairie woman will go to trial early next year. That trial for Gerson Blasnoe will start on February 16th. The 24-year-old is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, giving false information on a kidnapped or missing person and hiding a corpse. The charges stem from the death of 27-year-old Ingrid Valverde Ponce. She was last seen on January 11th. 3 days later, police found her body in the area of Portage Road at State Highway 19. A criminal complaint alleged the two had a relationship and that Blasnoe was the last person seen with Valverde Ponce the night she disappeared.
Police and fire crews have cleared the scene of a contained hazmat spill in Middleton today. Fire Battalion Chief Eric Porter says roughly 300 gallons of acid used in pools spilled after falling from a forklift on Discovery Drive. There's no threat to the public and roads are now back open.
Some new findings shed light on the troubled beagle breeder Ridgeland Farms. They show how many dogs they sold in the past 3.5 years and to whom. UW-Madison and drug developer LabCorp both being named in a recently published list of clients. Between 2022 and July of this year, UW-Madison purchased 19 dogs from Ridgeland, while LabCorp purchased 170. Advocates say they found Ridgeland sales are decreasing year over year, pointing to a possible sign that public pressure campaigns against the breeder are working.
They're able to continue to turn a profit and therefore have an interest in continuing to do what they're doing because there are folks creating demand and buying those products, in this case, living beings.
Both UW's School of Veterinary Medicine and LabCorp have not responded to our request for comment asking if they have continued buying dogs from Ridgeland.
An update now for students who need access to free and reduced price school meals. The U.S. Department of Agriculture has announced new income eligibility guidelines for school and daycare meal programs. Four-person households earning roughly $41,000 to $59,000 annually qualify for reduced price meals. For a list of eligible schools, you can visit channel3000.com.
Habitat for Humanity of Waukesha and Jefferson counties is now expanding to Rock County. The move will advance the organization's commitment to build 20 homes, complete 30 home repairs, and engage 3 communities a year by 2033. The first Habitat for Humanity build in Rock County is scheduled for this coming spring. Habitat is currently raising funds and recruiting volunteers. Families interested in buying homes can fill out a form online. A link to that can be found at our website, channel3000.com. The Packers back on the practice field after their preseason opening loss over the weekend to the New York Jets.
But as senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells it, the defeat also served as a learning experience for some.
Matthew Golden played in a lot of really big football games last year in his final year of college football. He played in the SEC Championship and he played in 2 college football playoff games. But his first game right here at Lambeau Field for the preseason opener against the New York Jets held value to him as well.
Just knowing what I need to do. Like I said, being on the same page with Jordan, but overall just going out there doing my part, which is catching the ball, blocking in the run game, and, just having that mindset to go and get it. So, I'm grateful for the position that I'm in, and, I know it could be taken away from me anytime. So, I try to attack it each and every day, keep my mind straight, and, just go out there and play fast.
Now that game against the Jets and the 2 targets that Matthew Golden got from Jordan Love were certainly just the first step in what should be a long NFL career. But they were still valuable, just like this Saturday's game against the Indianapolis Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium will be valuable as he makes more progress toward being an impact player for this team as a rookie. But remember, the Packers are right now without Jaden Reed, without Dontavion Wicks, and without Christian Watson, 3 players that are at the top of their wide receiver depth chart. So the more work Matthew Golden gets, the more accelerated his progress will be. Don't forget to follow all of our coverage at channel3000.com for free. And when you're there, make sure you sign up for our daily Packers newsletter, which delivers our coverage directly to your inbox. At Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
All right, thank you, Jason. Now the Packers will hit the road this Saturday to face the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium, and kickoff is set for noon.
Well, a Wisconsin soldier killed at Pearl Harbor has finally returned to his hometown for a proper farewell. On December 7th, 1941, Shawano native Private Herbert McLaughlin was in the hospital recovering from a broken nose suffered in a volleyball match. A Japanese plane was attacking a nearby ship when it was shot down, crashing into the hospital, killing Herbert. Well, last year, DNA testing confirmed his identity. Herbert was given full military honors, including a 21-gun salute, taps, and the presentation of the flag to his family.
Herbert left, Shawano 85 years ago, and nobody alive knew him, and yet here they are to welcome him home. I think it's a tribute to the community, and it's a tribute to Herbert.
His Purple Heart will be donated to the VFW post that bears his name, ensuring his service and sacrifice will be remembered for generations.
Well, ahead at 10, 3 people are dead after a shooting in Austin, Texas.
And President Trump takes control of Washington, D.C.'s police department. The development comes ahead of his meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
3 people are dead after a gunman opens fire at a Target store in Austin, Texas. 2 people were pronounced dead at the scene, with a third being taken to a hospital where they later died. Another person was treated at the scene for unrelated injuries. Police say the suspect fled in a stolen car, wrecking it, and then he stole another vehicle before being captured 20 miles from that Target store. The suspect described as a man with a history of mental health issues.
An explosion at a U.S. steel plant near Pittsburgh left 2 people dead and at least 10 more injured. First responders were called to this facility just before 11 o'clock this morning. Now, it's unclear how many people were inside the room where the explosion happened, and it's not the first incident at this plant. In 2018, a Christmas Eve fire cost that company $40 million. And in February, 2 workers were reportedly injured after a buildup of gases exploded, causing minor injuries.
President Trump announcing today he is placing the Washington, D.C. Police Department under direct federal control and deploying National Guard troops to our nation's capital.
This comes as the president prepares to meet face-to-face in Alaska on Friday with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
Wow. President Trump announced Monday he is placing Washington, D.C.'s police department under federal control and deploying the National Guard to help combat crime and remove homeless encampments.
I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor.
The president said he was declaring a public safety emergency, although police data shows violent crime in Washington is down 26% over the last year, and homicides are down 12%. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said National Guard troops will be on D.C. streets in a matter of days.
We've mobilized the D.C. National Guard. It'll be operationalized by the Secretary of the Army, Dan Driscoll, through the D.C. Guard. You will see them flowing into the streets of Washington in the coming week.
This is not about crime. This is about control.
Some D.C. residents protested the takeover. President Trump has called Monday's discussion of Washington's safety and appearance, quote, embarrassing, ahead of Friday's high-stakes meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska to discuss ending the war in Ukraine. Friday's meeting was requested by Putin. President Trump has indicated there may be an exchange of territories gained during the war.
There'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody.
As of now, Friday's talks will not include Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first.
Zelensky has said any decisions made without Ukraine involved will never work. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
More showers headed our way overnight, but it won't be long until we start to dry out.
Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here with the first warn forecast.
That's right. We're looking to dry out as we head into Wednesday and stay dry Thursday and Friday for the most part. Starting later Friday into the upcoming weekend is when we'll once again see that rain chance return. Tonight through at least Tuesday night, we're going to be dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms. Right now, the bulk of that moisture is off into lower portions or southern portions of Iowa, but this is going to be traveling north and eastward as we head overnight into those morning hours on Tuesday, where they're seeing similar situations to kind of what we saw over the weekend, the Chicagoland area all the way back to Peoria. This is another stationary front. Look at over the last 3 hours how these showers and thunderstorms have pretty much rained themselves out over the same areas over the last 3 hours. So that's what we talk about when these storms train or move over an area that's already been rained on. And sometimes the culprit are those pesky stationary or stalled out fronts. So those showers and thunderstorms out of southern Iowa, they'll make their way north and eastward as we go overnight into Tuesday morning. Further south and east, you're going to have that better chance for more of that shower and thunderstorm activity into the mid to late morning hours on Tuesday. Here's a cold front that's going to be bringing us some relief. We're going to dry out once this passes, but as it's moving through parts of Wisconsin, because it is a cold front, we could see another line of showers and thunderstorms develop as we head into the late afternoon hours on Tuesday. There is a severe weather chance, mainly further north and east, though, I would say, is where we'll likely see those severe thunderstorms. Don't let your guard up if you live in Waushara, Green Lake, Marquette, Adams, Columbia, or Dodge counties. But when we look at low pressure systems and the cold front, the closer that cold front is, or the closer you are to the center of low pressure, which is going to be further north and east, the better chance you're going to have of severe weather. If we do see severe weather, it is going to be strong winds as well as large hail. The tornado threat tomorrow is very, very minimal. We dry out Wednesday, Thursday, and for part of the day on Friday. Once our latest high pressure system moves off towards the east, we welcome back that humidity, those high dew points, warmer temperatures, and we start to see that chance for showers and thunderstorms returning. Now, the Madison area, we picked up over 2 inches of rain on August 10th, so that sets a new daily rainfall record for the date, surpassing the old record set back in the late 1800s by over a half an inch. And there is some good news on the horizon. Perhaps we will dry out, or at least trend drier than normal as we look to the second half of August. That could be partially because the Atlantic is getting a little bit more active. That backs up the jet stream, so systems kind of have to go over us or around us in order to move along. And so hopefully we'll see if maybe we do dry out. But in the more immediate future, after drying out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those rain chances return as we head into the upcoming weekend, but upper 70s to low 80s by the middle of next week. That will feel very, very nice.
Exactly, and I like the timing. We don't have to water the plants.
No, I haven't watered my plants in I think like 4 or 5 days.
There you go.
Hopefully they're doing okay.
They are.
Yeah.
All that rain. There was rain trickling through the roof at AmFam Field in Milwaukee over the weekend, but nothing can stop this Brewer team right now.
Yeah, they, like we said earlier, may never lose again. And if that can hold true, we'll tell you more still to come in sports. The Crew can win their way to another double-digit streak. We'll tell you if they could next on News 3 Now. What is happening at AmFam Field can only be described as Milwaukee magic. The Brewers have won 9 in a row and have the best record in baseball by a full 5 games. Their rookie sensation, Isaac Collins, was just named the National League's Player of the Week, but he's not the only one with a hot bat. Bryce Terang tanks one. That is his 11th homer of the season, and get this, his 5th in the month of August. The Crew take a 1-0 lead that would only grow. Another blazing bat belonging to William Contreras. He drives in his 6th run in his last 3 games, and the Crew win it 7-1. For those keeping track at home, they are now 30 games over 500 and winners of 10 in a row. After 2 weeks of preparation in Platteville, Wisconsin football returned to Madison today to finish out fall camp at Camp Randall. The Badgers' new offensive coordinator, Jeff Grimes, and their new quarterback, Billy Edwards Jr., have spent the offseason focusing on bringing Bucky back to their standard, a mission they say is almost complete.
literally everyone doing their job to the echo of the whistle. You really have seen some guys kind of take on the identity of Coach Grimes and what he wants this offense to be. So that's been really cool. Seeing the growth from spring ball, could really see some guys kind of mature from the end of spring to summer. Every day we're getting more and more guys that are playing up to the standard. And the more guys we can do that play that way at a consistent basis, I think we'll be, you guys have seen it. We have the opportunity to be a really explosive offense.
Braylon Allen knows a thing or two about explosive offenses and playing football in Wisconsin. He was a force at Fond du Lac and a phenom at the collegiate level as a Badger. But this past weekend was a football first for the second-year running back when his Jets played the Packers, giving the 21-year-old the chance to play in his home state for the first time as a pro.
Definitely a special feeling. Lambeau's historic place. I wouldn't say I rooted for the Packers growing up, but you always know about the history in this stadium and in this town. And it's always special to, run out of any tunnel in this league and be a part of these games. It's awesome to be out there, awesome to be able to play in front of a bunch of family, a bunch of friends. But, I love this place. I love this state, the city of Fond du Lac. It's always good to be back.
Well, speaking of homegrown heroes, let's hoop. If Robin Pingeton plans on turning around Wisconsin women's basketball, this is how it's done. She convinced Addie Shepley, the 32nd best player in the country in the class of 2026, to stay home. The Rice Lake native immediately becomes Wisconsin women's basketball's second highest ranked recruit ever. And speaking of love of this state, we also love Blaze, who's back with a final check of the forecast when we return.
Some more rain coming.
Yes, tonight we'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly impacting most of us probably during the morning hours, especially further south and east you live. We get a break in the afternoon, and then we see that cold front move on through, bringing us yet another round of showers and thunderstorms. That second round, not going to be as heavy, but maybe some severe weather further north and east. So stay with News 3 Now. We'll, of course, keep you updated throughout Tuesday afternoon. Drying out Wednesday and Thursday, and for most of the day on Friday, low 80s. Back into the upper 80s to low 90s Saturday with showers and thunderstorms returning, but just over the hill, upper 70s and drier conditions as we go into the middle of next week.
We love getting those days.
Yes.
Thank you, Blaze. And thanks for watching News 3 Now at 10, everyone. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is next.
Our next newscast coming up tomorrow morning at 4:30. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Good